Hi guys, they're gonna be collective. Let's see what's going on. This timeless reading, so take whatever resonates. If you're seeing this, you're meant to see it. Spirit, what's the collective going on right now? What's going on with collective? Please help me tap into whoever's watching this. We have the Valet of Blades. Give me more cards, Spirit. Give me more clarifying cards for Valet of Blades. The Magician in reverse. And Ace of Wands. So for the Valet of Blades specifically, I'm feeling like this has to do with either an emotional or an intellectual endeavor. I definitely see somebody trying to go out of their comfort zone and do something they haven't done before in terms of this emotional or intellectual idea that you're contemplating. You are really clear-minded, you know, with this, whatever this idea is, or whatever it is you've been trying to go towards, like a goal or whatever. But with the Magician in reverse popping out as clarifier, it seems like maybe there's setbacks, maybe you don't have all the tools you need, maybe it's just a really slow going process. Spirit, what's this Magician in reverse? The Moon in reverse. So in your head, you had like a specific idea about how this was gonna go, or just an idea in general, and that compared to reality is a little disorienting for you. Like maybe there were certain things you were trying to manifest into reality that now that you're realizing this idea being put out into reality, it just isn't realistic, you know? Or maybe seeing this idea being put out in reality has changed what you thought your goal was before, or because I'm feeling like the goal you had in mind was a little muddied up with like subconscious ideas. It wasn't like a clear thing. It was just a general direction you were going, or you had an idea in mind, but you didn't have like a set sort of direction with it, sort of. Take whatever resonates, but I'm definitely seeing you just being a little bit muddied up and confused here about how your ideas and what you plan for them to be are actually translating into the real world now that you're doing them and like going through the process of putting them out there. So there might just need to be a reevaluation of direction you want this idea to go in. I'm seeing that the idea you have is a clear-minded idea. Like, her mind is clear, she's parting the clouds, parting away confusion. It's generally a good thing, like a goal or idea you have in mind, but maybe you just need to reevaluate how that idea relates to the real world, or maybe where you're trying to go with that idea, like a general direction, or just reevaluate your own expectations of how this is translating into the real world. Maybe it's translating just fine, but it's not the way you wanted it to be. Like, it's different than how you were trying to make it be. So you're confused about that, and maybe you just need to lower your expectations, or even just accept that whatever this idea isn't going to be the exact way it is in your mind, but is going to be different because it's in reality. Yeah, the idea and the goal itself is good. Like, it's something you should be doing, or you feel like you should be doing, but you might still be like needing to reevaluate how this works in terms of reality, because I feel like you're realizing now it's not as like muddied up of a concept. Like, as you're putting it out there, you're realizing it's not as complicated as you were maybe making it in your head. And it just seems like you can actually like get out there. It doesn't seem like a confusing concept to other people, but again, like you were expecting it to be a different way or something like that. So for a lot of you, I'm just feeling like you need to reevaluate your own expectations, maybe reevaluate your own goals in terms of success, so that like you can appreciate where you're going with this goal and also have a sort of direction with it, without sort of feeling like you haven't achieved what you set out to achieve, because reality has made it different than it was in your head. Like what you're doing isn't necessarily bad. It's more like, or the idea you have or the goal you have isn't necessarily bad. It's actually good for you, but it's like your expectations of it or your translation of how that would work in reality is like still a little bit muddied up and confused. So you need to like meditate on that and just sort of figure that out for yourself, because it seems like even you don't really know like how exactly you're trying to manifest this into the world, or how exactly this could be building up in reality, but you still feel like it's not exactly how you want it to be, or not what you set out for it to be in the first place. So just try to figure out where that dissonance is coming from, and that'll help you get more clarity and direction on whatever this idea is, so that you can put it outwards. Like this is the feeling of whatever this goal or this idea is, you're trying to put it outwards. Like you're trying to help other people with it. You're just trying to get it like to expand and go out to more than just yourself. And like the goal itself is clear-minded. You don't need to reevaluate the goal or the idea itself. You just need to reevaluate the direction of the goal and the structure of how that's going to integrate into reality, like the foundations of it and how that would translate into reality. Take whatever resonates, because some of that was for different people. Ace of Wands here is telling me that this is something you're passionate about, which is why it's such an important thing for you to feel like to get out there, but it's also like bothering you that you're confused about it or you still haven't got it in it quite right. I'm feeling like you need to see the duality of things and like the imperfection. Like nothing's going to be as perfect as you imagine it in your head, and just accept the imperfections of it, and also accept that whatever you're putting out there is like a translation of what's in your own head. So like you're putting your own like thoughts in your head into reality by doing this. So just make sure to have a balanced mindset about it, because those things that are like just your dreams that stay in your head, you're putting them out into reality because this is your passion, this is your dream, but you're putting that out into reality. So you need to remember to have like a structure and sort of foundation with that, because it's not just dreams anymore. Now that you're putting it out there, now that you're trying to like spread it out there, and spread that information, it's not just subconscious stuff anymore. It's becoming and put and translated into reality. So you just need to be able to see the balance with it, and also make sure you're putting out there what you're okay with people seeing. Basically, make sure you're putting out there what you are okay with other people seeing, and keep your secrets. Like you are allowed to have privacy. You're allowed to keep your own secrets. You don't have to put out every little fucking detail of this. Like just make sure to, if you have like secret parts of yourself, you have those darker parts of yourself, you're allowed to show those. But if you don't want other people seeing those things, then don't, if that makes sense. You're the type of person who's not afraid to show darker parts of yourself. So I don't think that's necessarily a problem here, is that you can't show your dark parts. I think it's you not realizing you're showing dark parts of yourself that like you sort of want to keep to yourself and not make it other people's business. So just remember that if you put it out there, it's gonna be other people's business, you know? So just try to like keep a balance of like what part of the dream is yours and what part of the dream is to help other people. Because this is something you're really passionate about, and with Ace of Wands being this part of this idea, it is a dream for you. Like you do have a lot of energy going into this. You will probably be doing this for the long term. You're just very up and ready to get this wand going, to get this idea and this passion going. So like keep with that energy. You're perfectly fine the way you're doing it now. You're just using that passion to propel you forward. Just in general, you need to like reevaluate the direction of this and like reevaluate your own success so you don't feel like, you know, you haven't quite gotten it right yet. You haven't quite manifested it the way you want to. Because maybe some of you have already manifested it the way you wanted to. You just have a mindset where you think you haven't, or like you have some goal in mind that's like an unattainable goal when you've already sort of like achieved what you wanted to achieve, but in your mind you're sort of like still waiting for something that isn't going to happen. So you just need to reevaluate like what it is you're trying to do so that you can realize, okay, here's what else I need to do to get there, or realize, hey, I'm already doing that. I'm already there. I don't need to be sitting here and expecting myself like, what am I doing wrong? Is there something more I need to be doing? Because like, yeah, it's just a change in mindset. And then of course, don't be afraid to show, you know, don't be afraid to like, whatever it is you're trying to put out there, don't be afraid to like put it out there, because it's something that's meant to be put out there. Like it's translating into reality well. Maybe you just have your own like doubts and confusions, like, am I doing it right? Am I like, so yeah, just try and like meditate on that so you can feel more settled about that. Because if you're still in your head being a little confused of like, am I doing this right? Am I manifesting it the way I want to? Then that's going to muddy up your ideas, and it's going to muddy up the process of you putting it out there. So you want to be sort of clear-minded about your direction so that you can like feel also confident in yourself while you are putting those things out there, so you don't muddy it up with your own confusion for other people. But yeah, just use your passion to propel you forward, and to keep you learning, so that you can keep going despite mistakes, setbacks, and lessons learned. Hold on to that passion that you started with in the beginning and it made you want to start this project in the beginning, because that's what's going to keep you going no matter what the setback is. It's because you're so passionate about this, like no matter what the setback is, it's not going to stop you. And with the Seven of Cups here, I'm seeing you have a lot of options in terms of what you could do with this, which is probably why Spirits is like emphasizing a need for you to like pick a certain direction if you haven't already, because your options are many. You can really do whatever you want with this and push it in any direction you want. Just make sure you're like meeting your own goals, following your own passions. Like, don't set it in a direction, or don't try to like make a goal that isn't in your best interest or isn't what you truly desire. Try to align it with your actual passion about why you want to do this. Try to align it with your actual like passions and morals and values, like whatever direction you take. I'm also seeing that you could have either job, business, or friendship or romantic opportunities that are for you right now. Don't focus on those, because you have a lot of options going on right now, and you need to be focusing on this passion, whatever, or this idea you're trying to put out there, because that's most important. And while you're focusing on that, these like options that are like continuously going around you and confusing you, they will settle down and become more clear, as long as you just focus on this passion that you're working on, and then you'll be able to make the decision you want to make. Because things will settle down while you're working on that. Let's see. Let's clear that and see if we have anything else for my collective right now. What else? What other messages do we have for the collective spirit? What other messages do we have? Four of Wands. Queen of Disc reversed. King of Wands reversed. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Devil. So, with the Four of Wands, I'm sensing I don't think this has to do with a romantic relationship specifically. I feel like the relationships you already have right now are shifting in a way where they're becoming more stable. You've made a lifestyle change recently to make yourself more stable, and this in turn is like shifting your relationships into more stability. This is, for some of you, this stability that's coming in is going to be a little rocky. Like, the relationships are going to have a little bit of like a adjustment period where it's going to feel a little rocky before it can find that it can find that foothold to get to the stability. But that's only for some of you. So if you're experiencing that rockiness right now in relationships, it's just because they're trying to find their own stability and harmony. And it's also for some of you pointing out what relationships aren't stable and aren't able to find harmony and therefore need to be removed. Because any unstable relationships you have in your life are going to take away from your own stability and stable relationship with yourself. So those things need to be removed as soon as you realize that they cannot achieve harmony. Don't focus on material things right now. You're not going to feel abundant in a material, like, you're not meant to be focusing on material things right now, because if you do, you're going to feel this lack of abundance and you're going to feel this confusion. If this project that you've been doing has to do with material stuff, detach what that project and that idea and its goals are from materialist ideas and money and things like that. You need to make a sort of like idea of what this goal and what this project is separate from making money, so that you can hone in on the realities of why you're passionate about that. And because it doesn't have to do anything with money. And worrying about money in relation to that project or that idea you're passionate about is going to cause setbacks. It's going to cause obstacles. So that's not meant to be what you're focusing on right now. Also, I'm hearing that Spirit is saying this Queen of Discs, for some of you, this is only for some of you, this Queen of Discs is somebody around you who is in an unstable relationship who needs to be cut off. This Queen of Discs could be an earth sign or a water sign. But they don't have to be. But generally, this is someone who's unstable within themselves and can't, like, they're like having money trouble, having trouble building foundations. They might be really insecure within themselves. They might be asking a lot of people for help, but not really like implementing that help and stability. So this could be somebody around you. I'm hearing Gemini in particular. This could be a Gemini who is unstable and you are meant to be cutting off at the moment. But that's only for some of you. Take it as it resonates. King of Wands. So as your relationships are stabilizing, do not give in to anger. Try to be a more balanced person. Try not to be super angry about stuff. Like, as those are for the relationships you're wanting to keep, you're gonna want to be as balanced with your temperament as possible, and do not let frustrations get in the way of that stability. You need to realize when your own shadow side is playing a role in the stability of your relationships. You can balance that back out. On the other hand, if you are needing to cut somebody off at the moment, Spirit is advising you to be harsh and firm with your boundaries and setting them. And if somebody is not going to respect those boundaries, then be harsh and firm in separating yourself from that situation completely. This is not to say to go around and bully the person or make them feel bad for being unstable. This is just to say that you are not going to, you're not going to get anywhere by trying to be nice and trying to stay, like, trying to be patient with these people. The best you can do for these relationships you're realizing that you need to cut off right now is to just be harsh and firm and just get it over with and do it as fast as possible, and not stall with it, not make it drag on longer than it has to. Generally, you're meant to be cutting those out of your life as quick as possible so that the stability you have been working on will not be compromised. I'm also seeing that besides those things, besides those relationship things, taking an emotionally balanced temperament to your own stability with yourself is really good for you right now, and not giving in to like sudden impulses of anger or frustration. When you do feel those things, it's good for you right now to take a moment and step back and just breathe and like calm down, because those things are going to be like setbacks. Giving into those impulses is going to be a huge setback for you right now because you're working so hard in the stability. You're getting pretty far pretty fast with this stability you've been creating for yourself. You're getting pretty far. You just need to work on your own shadow work in terms of anger that you can have over relationships or over your routine or really anything. I'm seeing specifically this has to do with you getting frustrated and angry easily, and that's part of like shadow work that you haven't done in your daily life. But in the long run, this is just something you would have had to face to achieve the stability that you're going for. So just be patient with yourself about this. Be patient and allow yourself to not be a perfect person, because nobody is completely perfect and nice and fucking whatever else that they wish that they could be 100% of the time. Okay, let's wrap this up. Any last messages from my pile? Or not my pile, my fucking collective? Any last messages from my fucking collectives? Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups. Move on from the past, move on from past habits and patterns, realize why those things were holding you back, and therefore move on. Realizing why those things were holding you back and why they weren't good for you is like the key to moving on, and also forgiving yourself and forgiving others is the key to moving on. You do not have to forgive what those people did because it's unforgivable, but forgiving people and absolving them, and especially forgiving yourself, can lift a huge weight off yourself so you aren't emotionally or karmically attached to those people and their karma and their karmic energy. But also you not being emotionally attached to your own trauma wounds and things like that that have happened to you in the past that you still haven't done the shadow work on, because a huge part of shadow work is moving on, letting go, and forgiving yourself, and that will help you find the root of a lot of this anger and frustration you've been experiencing and facing as you've been reaching towards and growing towards your own stability. I'm also with the King of Discs here. Spirit is saying you've been working really hard and you're at a point in your life where you might not feel abundant, but you're spiritually abundant. Like you're working hard on yourself. You might feel like you're sort of at the beginning of your journey, you're in the middle of your journey, but you're actually you're perfectly good as you are, because you are on this progressive path. No matter where you are on that path, you're perfect right as you are, because you are continuing on with this state of abundance and fulfillment in mind. Spirit is saying to just be happy and enjoy yourself and enjoy where you are, because you worked really hard to get here. All of the stuff I said earlier was just advice for all the troubles you're going to be having right now, because we're always going to be having troubles. We're always going to be having obstacles and things like that. But Spirit wants you specifically, my collective, to realize how far you've gotten in such a short amount of time, and to just enjoy and be happy with that, because it's just crazy how much abundance you've created with you for yourself. Some of you might have even like gotten a promotion or a raise or something really fast. And you're probably in the mindset of, okay, I've achieved that, I need to do this now, I need to do this now. But it's like, Spirit is just like, be happy where you are, because this part of the journey is just as important as the next part of the journey, or the last part of the journey you were in. And Spirit is putting particular emphasis on the fact that right now you're in a spot where you have worked very hard. So you need to appreciate and be happy for that, so that you aren't like just dismissing that stuff. Because if you just dismiss when you work hard and dismiss those times when you reach your goals and you're just like, yeah, whatever, I could do better, then you're never really gonna feel satisfied with reaching your goals. You're never gonna feel like you're actually doing something. You're just gonna keep feeling like you need to get to the next goal. It's not about the goal, it's about the journey and the change that you went through to be able to be strong enough to get there, or to grow as a person to where you could get there. So just take a step back and have some appreciation and really be happy for yourself and what you have right now. That's it, my collectives.